Whistleblowers from a Rockford hospital say their faith in medical care is shaken. They claim patients were put in harm's way at the hands of the very people meant to save them.
A lawsuit against OSF St. Anthony Medical Center alleges doctors stepped away from patients on the operating table with complaints from staff going largely unnoticed. Reporter Nathaniel Langley brings us an exclusive sit-down with former employees stepping forward.
Mike, Sydney, this trio speaking out possess about 40 years of medical experience between them. After they say their complaints reportedly led to retaliation, all but one remain in the healthcare field.
I was pulled into one of our monthly meetings.
These women say they joined OSF St. Anthony Medical Center with a purpose.
To take care of patients as if those patients are your loved ones that are on the table.
Each played a part overseeing operating rooms in the Rockford Hospital.
Every step that we took and measure that we took was to ensure that the outcomes of our patients were the best that they could be.
But the trio left the OR for an attorney's conference room as potential whistleblowers.
We had a new group come in for our neuro providers. They were struggling a little bit to follow rules.
In a lawsuit against St. Anthony, the former OR leaders claim between 2023 and 2025, neurosurgeons left patients under anesthesia alone on operating tables.
The patient's asleep. They can't advocate for themselves, and that's what everyone in that room is there for.
One doctor, according to the group, allegedly left the patient for 37 minutes to attend a meeting.
They're being billed for that time by the minute, and it's, efficiency is important, but patient safety is number one.
Another surgeon reportedly fell asleep against a microscope. Despite Tina Pepper's attempt to stop the operation, a chief medical officer let it go on.
This was an elective procedure, not emergent in any way.
The women say they filed incident reports, called OSF's integrity line, and emailed concerns to hospital leadership, to no avail. Peppers remembers one reply from her boss.
His response to me exactly was, "We can't afford to lose another surgeon."
The lawsuit claims hospital leaders retaliated against the trio, allegedly telling them to stop filing reports.
It's been really emotional. It still is.
By May 2025, the 3 OR staff members left OSF.
It's just hard. We want to do the right thing for the patients.
What does justice to you look like in this case?
It's about ensuring public safety.
Antonio Jeffrey believes his clients deserve millions of dollars in damages.
Because they were forced out as a result of the management there at OSF.
OSF offered a no comment in response to the lawsuit.
I'd like to just add that I want every patient out there to know that we always fought for them.
I asked the plaintiffs whether any of the patients allegedly left alone on anesthesia were ever told that happened to them. To the best of their knowledge, they say that these patients may be out there and never know that they were a part of this.
Jeffrey says the lawsuit will soon enter the discovery phase. He asked for a jury trial, or a trial by jury in Winnebago County.